Are you ready for 5 earrings? 5 5-minute earrings. That's what this video is all about. If you're new to Avante Jewelry, welcome. I have a little pillow here. Welcome. I'm Vicki, and my husband Mark and I traveled and sold our handcrafted jewelry for, oh goodness, over a decade. And now, a few years after taking a break from traveling and selling jewelry, I started this channel a year ago, Avante Jewelry, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I so appreciate all of you. You were wonderful. All of you were wonderful. I so appreciate those of you who watched my 12 days of beaded Christmas ornaments. Some could become earrings. I just finished up the series this week. I don't know when you're watching this video, but I just wrapped up my 12 days of Christmas, and that was quite a project, I have to tell you. It kicked my butt. Yeah, it did. I made the jewelry over several days, and then I edited the videos, each day to get those out to you. And am I going to do it next year, 2025? Do you want me to? Should I think of ideas all year long so I'm not waiting to the last minute to have to do everything? If you want to see another one, you gotta leave a comment and let me know. All right, back to the 5-minute earrings. 5 pairs of earrings. They only take about 5 minutes. And, well, you can see here, I'm not wearing a necklace today. Why am I talking about necklaces? Well, because sometimes I take necklaces and upcycle them into other pieces of jewelry. I have several videos out there doing that. I might take a necklace and make it a bracelet and earrings, or make it into a new necklace with a bracelet, and who knows what. I have a lot of fun with that. And I think a lot of you enjoy those types of videos because I don't think I'm the only one that has a stash of beads or vintage to modern necklaces that I can take apart and make into something else. So this video is going to be a mix of some new components, new ear wires, some new beads, and some pre-owned vintage to more modern beads that I took from necklaces. That's why I referred to I don't have a necklace on today. But I have been finding a lot of them lately, a whole bunch, pretty reasonable too. We went to our Restore, Habitat for Humanity Restore. Well, they have jewelry there. Crystal Poppet. Those would make some pretty icicles. I picked up this beauty. Look at this, it even has the tag. It is vintage, and maybe I should check and see if it has any value before I take it apart. But this has potential for my icicles. You know what I'm talking about. And I found this necklace. Got this for only $2. The lady brought the bin of jewelry over to me, and we were taking the jewelry out of the bags as she was hanging them on the display. They weren't selling very well in plastic bags and a plastic tote, so she was hanging them up. I was picking through it. Check this out. Well, let me get the tassel a little untangled. And there's this fun one. And this really heavy black chips. Probably messing up my hair, but it's messed up anyway. We've been out all day, running all day long. And this is Sodalite. I have some other Sodalite beads that I can put with it. This is beautiful. They're stones, and I don't know if these are glass yet or not. Stones and crystals. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, they really are pretty just like they are. But I don't dress up very much, except a little bit for my videos. And this one is really cool. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Isn't that neat? So I think that has potential for something, and it's a little too small for me to put on. It's really tiny. And because I was out of large hole beads, yes, out of them, I didn't have many. I did make that video though, how to work with large hole beads. So I picked this up so I could try some other things with large hole beads. This might wait till Valentine's, we'll see. Might as well, right? The layered look is in for 2025. Have you heard? The layered look is in. Wearing all different styles and types. What do you think? Is it too much? Oh yeah, you came here to watch a video for how to make 5 pairs of earrings in 5 minutes. Well, you know, I don't get to chat with you very much, so I thought I would before I started. I'm probably going to work with some of these, but I have a whole bunch of other necklaces that I picked up lately. Plus, I have my bead stash, you know. So I don't know what I'm making yet. That's the fun part. The only thing I know is that I'm going to make somewhat small or petite, elegant earrings, drop earrings that are small. This is about the longest that I wear. And we're going to talk about ear wires, different types of ear wires, and how you can shorten up your earrings. And I'm going to show you some short styles. And we're going to use a variety of beads, stones, crystals, and components. It's time to start. The first thing I want to do is talk about the various types of ear wires that you can purchase pretty much anywhere that sells jewelry making supplies. But let's go through these. When I say that we're making petite, elegant earrings, well, petite is relative for sure. I'm talking about earrings that are not 2 inches or longer. And this first one is a post. And a post is the shortest ear wire that you can work with. The post plus the loop is about 1/4 of an inch. Then we have the lever back, or lever back, however you prefer to pronounce it. This one, from the top of it, is about 5/8 of an inch. I hope you can see that. I'll try to zoom in for you. So that would be the next shortest ear wire. And then, of course, we have the standard French ear wire. And I'm lining this up at 0. And the drop on an earring does start from the top of the ear wire. A standard French ear wire is about 3/4 of an inch before you even start the beads. So obviously a French ear wire is a lot longer than a simple post. So if you'd like to have petite or small earrings, I suggest you start with a post. And the gold one is the same thing. It's about 3/4 of an inch before you even start the beads. And even though I use a lot of these, I do, and they're just fine. I like to put an earring back with them, little silicone or rubber earring back with these to secure them. I still really like the other two when I want to wear a shorter earring. I especially like this one here, the lever back, because it's secure. When I say secure, it opens up. You put this through your ear. I think you know how these work, and you close it up. So it's the most secure earring, although these silicone earring backs truly help prevent your earrings from falling out. As far as the butterfly back or the earring back for the post, I actually prefer to use the silicone earring back. It's up to you, personal preference, but I do like these as the earring back. Okay, now that you understand the different types of ear wires, in addition to these types of ready-made ear wires, you can always make your own. And when you make your own, you can make it any length or style that you like. But I just wanted to show you some of the basic ones. This is one of the necklaces that I was wearing. And you might see just a necklace, but what I see are beads. I see beautiful mother of pearl beads, and I see potential to turn these beautiful beads into something else. And although I do sell jewelry as it is, as I find it, because I also make jewelry, I look at it differently than most people. I assume that those of you who are watching this also make jewelry, and I encourage you to start looking at costume jewelry, pre-owned costume to modern fashion jewelry, to look at it as beads, not the final necklace that it is. So I see a whole lot of beautiful mother of pearl beads, and I'm going to take this apart. At least I'm going to take at least one strand apart. We'll start with one. I don't need to take it all apart yet. I'm not sure if this is on string or nylon. I was trying to find the center and take the shortest length out. I think I'm going to go with this one. Let's find out what they strung it on. Okay, it's a nylon cord. It's not a 49 strand wire like I like to use. It's just a nylon cord. So let's take some of these off of here. Let's take all of them off this strand. And as you can see, I can still wear this necklace. I still have 2 strands here, and I can wear it just like that if I'd like to. We'll see about that. It is very pretty. So what do we have here? How many beads did we get off of one strand? I'm just kind of curious. I will say that These little beads, the little spacer beads, are just plastic. And they're not in very good condition, so I'm probably going to just pitch those. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but these are different thicknesses. Let me just put two side by side and show you the variance. Can you see the variance in the thickness here? That's interesting, but you know, it is mother of pearl, it is a natural material, and that's the way it is. All right, I'm going to separate out the beads just like you would be doing. These are going in the trash. So I paid $2 for this necklace. Got 29 beads just in the one strand. All right, I'm so excited to work with these because I think they are gorgeous. Of course, we're making earrings, and this is going to be pair number 1. Of course, we're going to make earrings, and this is going to be pair number 1, and I have 2 head pins. They're 2-inch head pins, just going with the silver plated. I am checking them for thickness to try to make sure they're similar in size. And I'm going to show you what I think is a very basic beginner step in making earrings, something that I would have done, 15 years or so ago. And that is just to simply put the bead on the head pin. I'm not going to finish it all the way, but that would be a very, very basic step. But we want to make these look elegant. And to do that, we need to add some findings and spacers and maybe a crystal or something to the earrings to make them elegant. They are beautiful, but we're going to elevate them just a little bit. Let's set these aside. I can see lots of earrings in my future here. Okay, so let me show you some of the things we're going to be working with in this video. I have some daisy spacers. And daisy spacers come in all different sizes. Quite a variety here. Really tiny ones. I suggest for you an assortment of daisy spacers. I'll see if I can find a link and put it below the video, if I can find a supplier that has an assortment of sizes. But you can see there's just so many different sizes and styles. But they're a daisy spacer because they look like a little flower and because they're round and fairly flat, and they're used as spacers between beads. I've got a variety of these, and then I have a variety of other spacers that I'm going to work with, spacers and findings. So we've got a little bowl of these, and then I have a variety of bead caps. So before you start your project working with your beads, I suggest you gather up some of your supplies. A variety of daisy spacers, fancy spacers I'll call them, bead caps, perhaps even bead cones, an assortment of crystals. I have just clear AB in here right now, but I might pull out other colors, and your head pins and your ear wires. I'm going to go ahead and just dump these out so you can kind of see some of the shapes that I have in here. So here we are back to our first earring and our beautiful mother of pearl bead. I also have some small 3mm beads in gold and silver. I might mix the tones today, and then I think these are 5mm here. But I'll probably stick to the smallest ones that I have. I have several options with these. I could put a small round bead on the bottom. Could do that. My favorite head pin is a 2-inch head pin, and this is a 20 gauge head pin. This is what happens sometimes when you order the little head pins that have the ball on the end. It's a lighter weight wire, and they can come really, really bent and somewhat hard to straighten out. So I really don't use these very often, but I wanted to show you that, there are little ball head pins out there. There's a variety of head pins out there for that matter. Even though I like the ball on the end, let's see what happens here. How hard is this to put through here? Very difficult. Not my favorite kind. I like the ball, but I don't care for how thin the head pin is, the wire on the head pin. So that's why you don't see me use these. I don't really have to put anything on the bottom here. I could, to make sure that doesn't wear through. I could put a very small, my smallest of my daisy spacers on the bottom. Do you see how the daisy spacer sticks out though? I think it takes away from the beauty of the beads. I'll try another style. This one's a little flatter. It's okay, but it still sticks beyond the bead. I could use a seed bead here, but let's go back to the small bead and take another look at this. It's not too bad. Compared to everything else that I've tried, it's not too bad. Instead of finishing it off and calling it, let's play around with some of these components that I have. Some of the spacer beads. We could stack spacer beads We could stack a variety of sizes and shapes and do this. I like that. Or we could look for a fancier spacer bead. I don't want to overpower this. I don't want to get too big, but we could do something like that. What happens if we go back to the assortment of spacers, daisy spacers, and then add a fancy spacer on top? To me, that almost looks like it's stacked daisy spacers. What about a crystal? I'm liking that. What do you think? We could put a crystal on the bottom too, but I'm liking it at the top. All right, I think I found the one I like the best. Got the 3mm round bead at the bottom, the mother of pearl bead, 3 different daisy spacers, and then a little bicone crystal on top. Do we want to finish it off with a small bead at the top? Not sure. So we need to take a look. I do want to protect the bicone crystal with something at the top, so I think I'm going to go with that. So what do we have as far as length? 1 inch. It's 1 inch long. What do we know about our ear wires? Well, we know that if we want to make it very short and only add 1/8 of an inch, we go with a post. If we want it slightly longer and more secure, we can go with a lever back. That adds about 1/2 inch. For the first one, I'm going to go with the post. You'll need round nose pliers, push the beads down. I like to put my thumbnail right on top of that top bead and bend it at a right angle. Cut it down to about 1/4 of an inch. And then I know where I want to place it here, but you could put a mark here with a permanent marker, Sharpie, and I'm just going to get a hold of that. And I kind of pull towards myself as I roll it. Some people like to finish rolling it that way. I like to turn it towards me. I turn it towards me and I finish rolling it. And then if I need to, I straighten it up a little bit. But look at that nice loop. And I didn't have to over twist my wrist to make that loop. Let's finish the other one. Next, we'll attach it to the post ear wire. And to do that, I like to open up the loop on the earring itself. And we open it up sideways. Put it through the loop on the post ear wire. Close it up. Let's do the same thing here. Close it up. And these are my chain nose pliers. And you see the point on there? That's versus my flat nose. I highly recommend these pliers because it makes it so easy to get into these tight spaces. We have our first pair of earrings. You can use the little back that comes with it. You can. And if you're making jewelry to sell, you can sell them this way. Or you can use a silicone earring back that I think is more secure. That's just my feelings about it. You can use whatever you like. I'll show you both of them. See what happens sometimes, and I just did it right now. Sometimes people put these on in a hurry and they don't get it through this part here and they think they have it on, but they don't, and that's how they end up losing their earring. They come with it, you know, the back comes with it, but I highly recommend this earring back for safety. What's your favorite type of ear wire? Do you like a post, a lever back, a French ear wire, or do you just simply like a hoop? I'm sure there's some other ones out there too. What type do you prefer to wear? Let's take a look at these on a display. A beginner earring looks like this, along with an ear wire, and an elegant earring looks like this. That's earring number 1. And I'm going to ask you to vote at the end of the video and let me know which one you like the best. Let's move on to the next earring. Earring number 2. I picked up this beaded necklace. It's sodalite. It's blue, shades of blue. I decided to buy this for $2 because I didn't have any sodalite beads, round ones, and I have a few other sodalite beads, and I'm hoping I can find 2. So I have these little sodalite beads, and I like to pair something with it, and I went to my container for sodalite, and I couldn't find anything that I liked. So I kept looking, and I found this, and I remembered that I had bought this necklace just a few weeks ago, and it has, voila, and it has sodalite beads. Yay, we've got sodalite beads. It's a beautiful necklace. It's made by Loft. I did look it up, and on eBay, someone's selling one for $25. It's Ann Taylor Loft, but, you know, hasn't sold yet. I bought it for the beads. Another beautiful necklace that I bought to take it apart. Love it. So I'm going to start with the strand that has the sodalite beads. I don't know if it's string or wire. That came apart pretty easy. And I'm going to grab a bowl because I can see that we've got tiny little seed beads in between everything. Just going to take the whole strand off. This is another $2 necklace at one of my favorite thrift stores. Love that, especially when I can get stones and crystals and things like that for a couple of dollars. Okay, one strand down. I don't know if I'll use any of these or not. There are some navy beads in here, but let's take a look at these side by side. These are polished. These have a slightly higher sheen to them than the little round ones, but I'm okay with that. I'm not sure how many I need because I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to make. I might grab some of these crystals just in case. And I'm curious to see if these little spacer beads are metal, and yes, they are. Love that. I'm not sure if I'll use any or not, but I'll get some out. Love it when they're not plastic. It's always a good thing. All right, set that aside. I think I have plenty of these out. Let's make an earring with these. Got a couple of ideas rolling around in my head. Let's take a head pin. Speaking of head, let's take a head pin. Got a 2-inch head pin here. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up one of these little seed beads for the bottom. And I've got in my mind that I want to stack these. So let's take a look at some of these findings. I have some square spacer beads. Not sure if it's going to look right, but I'm going to try it. No, I'm not going to go with the square. Let's try these. It's not too bad of a fit. And just alternate using the same size of daisy spacer in between. Not too bad. I haven't used a crystal yet, and this is really an unusual color. It's basically a cream color of crystal. Not super crazy about that. We haven't worked in the round bead yet. Let's take a look. Let's try this little bead cap. Nope. Sometimes you just know. You just know if it's a yes or a no. I do have these really wide spacer beads, and I think I might like that better than these. So slight change here. Sodalite, wide spacer bead. Now they are smaller in diameter, but it's kind of cool looking. And then what if I picked up another one of these seed beads from the original necklace? It doesn't have any bling, but it's a unique looking component so far. I say component because I'm not done with it yet. All right, I'm going to experiment. It's only a head pin, so I'm going to experiment and go ahead and trim this back down to about 1/4 of an inch. Make my loop, close my loop. And this is what I have so far. But it needs something else. What can we do? How about if we take a head pin, only I really don't want another head pin, I really just want the wire. So I'm going to take my flush cutters and take this over to my trash can and cut the head off of this head pin. That's what I'm after. I'm going to make a loop on one end, kind of like an eye pin, and I guess I could have used an eye pin, but this is another way to have an eye pin. And then let's take at least one of these round beads. I don't want the earring to get too big. We're trying to stay a little bit dainty, either in diameter or length. Do I want to put anything around this? How about a small round bead on each side of the sodalite round bead? How about that? What I'm working towards, if you can't see it here, I'm thinking about a connector, but that does make it quite long. So I guess I'm going to go back to just the bead. And of course these all have different colors, and I'm going to go for one that has more blue in it. Cut this back and make another loop. I might have to align it when I get done to match the other side. If I want to connect this to an ear wire, to not make it very long, I'm going to use another post. I think I'm good with these being opposite directions of each other. I just need to make it a little more opposite. Using my needle nose pliers, just opening up one end. I'm going to put this through the ear wire, close that up, and then I'm going to open up the other end, or I could just open it here. It would be easier just to open it here and attach this. So this is what we have. We have a unique looking, one of a kind, I'm sure, little sodalite earring. You could use all different types of spacer beads. You could even use rhinestone rondelles, but I'm staying pretty natural here with the stones. I like that, so I'm going to make another one. And there we go. Look at these simple earrings. How cute is that? I'm a little bit curious as to how long these are. Just a tad over 1.5 inches. Let's put them on a display. And there you go. There's our earrings. If I were to compare what a beginner version would look like, if it were me 15 years ago, I probably would have done this if I had these beads. Knowing me, I probably would have put a round one on the bottom, stacked a few of these, and I would have put a round bead on top. I might stack more than this, let's say 5 of them, but that pretty much would have been my skill at that time. So I consider this style to be somewhat beginner, and then this one having some style and a little more elegant. What do you think? This is earring number 2. Let's move on to earring number 3. Here's the question of the day. How many pairs of earrings do you have in your jewelry box? Leave a comment and let everyone know. How many pairs of earrings do you think you have? I have lots of them. Keep watching. There's more. Earring number 3. I bought this beautiful necklace just yesterday. Paid $2 for it. I do believe I have here genuine polished jasper. It's cool to the touch. I'm trying to look down inside of it. And then I have these little round beads. I'm not sure if this is picture jasper or what, but even though it is very pretty, I am going to take it apart. You can see they put some time into it because it's knotted in between. I'm going to take it apart because I want to work with the little round jasper beads. That's what I'm going for in this one. And these will probably someday be included in a bracelet or necklace. I know some of you are saying, no, don't take it apart. As I said in the beginning, I look at these as beads. And if it's something that I'm not going to wear exactly as it is, I'm going to take it apart for the beads. I guess I only needed 2 of those. But what else do I have here? I have some little bicones. And little seed beads are here. Let's see what else we can take off of here. See what we can use. And you can see I'm using little embroidery scissors. Tiny little embroidery scissors. Those are handy. These are handy to have on hand when you're taking jewelry apart, especially when they're on string. This is on string. I often wish I knew the history behind a piece of jewelry. You know, who made it? Where did it come from? You know, was it made in the U.S.? Was it made in another country? And I mean, we know a lot of jewelry is made in China. I would love to know the history behind it. There was a time when I bought vintage jewelry directly from the owner. I did that quite a bit when I lived in Ohio. Now I just pick it up at thrift stores and, church rummage sales and things like that. I've got some pieces to work with. This is what I was going for. I'll set this aside for a future project. I'm sure those will be used again. So let's take a look at this. If I were a beginner making earrings for the first time, I'd probably put this bead on here, like so, and maybe stack a little rondelle, and maybe a little bicone, maybe a little seed bead. But this would be what I consider a beginner style, but we want to make it look elegant. So how do we do that? We can do that several ways, and one of the easiest ways is to add spacer beads and or findings like bead caps and things. So let's just play with these. I have a variety of bead caps here. I said the video is 5-minute earrings. It really doesn't take more than 5 minutes to make any of the earrings that I'm showing you. It's just that I'm showing you various options and we're experimenting with different things. But once I know what I'm going to make, it doesn't take more than 5 minutes to make a pair of earrings. Let's try some bead caps here. This is a very basic bead cap, and you can see it kind of takes away from the roundness of the bead. It shortens it up. It flattens it on each end. Can you see that? So it no longer looks round. I'll show you the comparison here as it does here. I really don't want to lose that round look, that round shape, so that's not working for me. Let's try a couple of small, very small cone beads. I could put a round silver bead on the bottom, or I could use one of their seed beads. I think I'm going to go with the round little 3mm bead because it will add more bling to it. Let's try a bead cone, then our round bead, and then another cone. It doesn't flatten it out quite as much as it did with this bead cap. It changes the looks of it though quite a bit. Let's see what else we can add. Let's go ahead and just try the rondelle and the bicone from the original necklace. What's funny to me is that I like the black bead with it, but this original bicone that's in the necklace has a lot of purple in it. And I'm actually not liking it now, the purple with the brown. That is too funny. Let's look at that again. Yeah, these have gold on one side, but they're purple as well. It looked really pretty in the necklace, but for some reason when I'm separating it out into an earring, I'm not liking these bicones as much. So let's pull these out, set those aside. I'm not going to use those. This is okay, but it's still not what I consider elegant. And elegant to you is going to be totally different from what elegant is to me. I just know that it still looks rather plain. So those little cone beads are not working. Let's just put the round bead on here. What if we get into these other spacer beads? Now I'm kind of liking that, but it makes me want to have something on the bottom as well, another spacer bead. This type of spacer bead is what they would call a bally bead, B-A-L-I, bally bead. I like it on the top. I'm not liking this on the bottom. Let's put some stacked daisy spacers. I'm putting the smallest one on the bottom, a little bit larger, and a little bit larger on the bottom. See what I have here? Almost looks like one of those pre-made head pins that has a design on the bottom. Now let's add the round bead, then the fancy bally spacer bead, but I'm still not liking that. It's still missing something. Let's try another daisy spacer before it. I'm liking it more. Still not right. Or maybe I just need to use the daisy spacers again and go backwards in size. In other words, match the bottom here. I just want to take a look at this and see what it looks like. That would be a petite earring. It's interesting. I think all of the spacer beads make it interesting. And it doesn't cover up the round bead at all. I do want a little more bling. So this is one option. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set this aside. I'm not going to take it off of here. I'm going to get another head pin and create another look so we can compare. If you're enjoying this video, I appreciate a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe and keep watching. There's more. I went ahead and got some black, solid black bicone beads. Sometimes it helps to look at a design from both directions. Looking at it this way, which is how I was originally designing it with the bally bead at the top, but then turning it upside down and taking a look at it that way as well. Gosh, is that it? Is that the one I want? You know, this one just had the stacked spacer beads. Now it looks kind of plain next to this one. So for sure, I'm not going with this. Maybe I'll mix metals. Maybe I'll put a little gold bead at the bottom and then a silver daisy spacer and then the round bead. True confessions, because I'm keeping it real, I had to play with this off camera for a while until I came up with something that I like. I like this. Even though I don't have spacer beads in between here, it looks simple, but I think it looks elegant. But I'm going to take it to another level, just ever so slightly. Let's take this off here. I have an eye pin. I have a tiny seed bead that came off the original necklace. I have the little bicone bead, black, the jasper stone, the bally bead, another black bicone, and another tiny little spacer bead. I could stop here with the regular head pin. I could do that. It would be perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and finish the loop on here. Let's just go ahead and make the second one another eye pin. Because this seed bead is so tiny, you have to really get that loop closed up well, or that seed bead wants to get past that and get up into the loop itself. They're getting longer. This one is 1 3/8. I could stop right here and call it, and I would have a small, dainty earring, dainty and elegant earring. But when I was going through all of my spacer beads, I found these leaves, these little leaf charms that I had pulled out, and I decided I wanted to put those at the end. So using my needle nose pliers or chain nose pliers, however you want to refer to them, this is my top. So I'm going to open this loop. Got to keep that seed bead from slipping out. Open that sideways. Put the little leaf charm on here. I could use a jump ring, but I don't want these to be any longer than what they already are. And we have a little leaf on the end. Let's make sure it's going to lay right. Let's do the other one. Make sure I have the top where it should be. I think I'll be okay once I get them on the ear wire. Speaking of ear wires, which one do we want to go with? We know that the traditional French ear wire is going to make it longer, and they're already quite long. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go with a post. Yep, going with a post earring. Keep it as short as I can. And these are not heavy. If they were heavy earrings, then the lever back would be a good choice too. But these are very light. I think they'll be just fine. Again, this could be attached with a jump ring, but I'm trying to keep them as short as possible. It will lay right once you get them on. And then let's take a look at the length. These are right at about 2 inches. So dainty doesn't necessarily mean length. It can. I'll reverse what I said earlier. It doesn't necessarily have to be short, but you can see that they're not large beads. So in effect, they are dainty. Let's take a look at these on the earring display. This is what we have. What did we start with? We started with a very basic little round stone bead. If you'd like to vote, this is earring number 3, but keep watching because we have 2 more styles to make. I bought this necklace because I liked all of these little rondelles. They're kind of a gray-black with a silver metallic finish. And it is a nice little bead cap. I like how they made it. These beads, they feel a little bit cool to the touch, and they are knotted in between, so that definitely took some time. But I'm not convinced that they're metal. I need to see the center of these. They do feel slightly cool to the touch though. So let's take this apart and see what we can do. Some of these do have some wear on them around the pendant. I don't need all of these beads, so I'm not going to unknot all of these gold beads. But the first ones near the pendant I'm going to eliminate. Again, I'm using my little embroidery scissors. You can pick these up in the sewing department. If I can find any on Amazon, I'll put a link. Underneath my videos, just open up that box where it says more, and you'll find my tools that I use all the time, any supplies that I can share with you. You know, I'm making these from vintage necklaces, so I'm hoping you'll just go to your own bead stash and see what you can work with. You know, a round bead is a round bead. It doesn't have to be the same exact round bead that I'm using. My videos are for inspiration, to inspire you to take what you have and play with it and see what you can come up with. And that's what we're doing here. Let's just take this apart and see how they did this. I'm always curious about that. Let's take this head pin off. What do you think? What's under here? Drum roll, please. All right, let me just go ahead and cut that off. So how did they make this necklace? Always fun to see. Well, it's all on string. Every single strand is on string. So they gathered up all of these strings. Oh, you know what they did? They took eye pin, and if you imagine this part was what went through the bead cap, basically that's what they did. As far as how they attach these, I'm going to unbend eye pin. It's not even tied to this. Wow, look how many beads I have here. Isn't this great? These are beautiful. They're just strands of rondelles. You know how much they charge for beads in stores, right? I mean, a strand like this at Joann's would be, well, ridiculous because they mark it high so they can put it on sale. I got all these beads, plus this, plus a bead cap for $2. Not bad. All they did was take and bend this eye pin back to capture all of these. That's all I did. When I take jewelry apart, I always learn something new. And this is a perfect example. All right, I don't need all of these. Let's just take one strand and cut this open. It's knotted on the end, but they're not knotted in between. Only this part was knotted in between. I still need to determine whether these are metal or not. They're plastic. Mark took a look at them, did the bounce test on his table, and they're plastic. That's what I suspected. I don't know if I want to use them. I bought them for these anyway. What can we do with these tiny little rondelles? So here we are with these tiny little, I'm going to guess 3 or 4 millimeter rondelles. Let's look at what a very basic beginner earring might look like. They're pretty beads. Are they pretty enough to become an earring all on their own, or will the earring need a little bit of embellishment? Let's just take a look. Yeah, they're pretty beads. They are. So I'm going to consider this a beginner earring. Add a little ear wire, and you could call it. But we're not going to do that now, are we? No, we're not going to do that. Let's get another head pin over here. I am thinking, I think I'll start with a small round bead. And I still have all these findings here, and I'm not going to use these plastic beads. I'm trying to make elegant, so I'm not working with the plastic today. Even though these are vintage necklaces, I'm trying to work with the best components out of each. So I have a little round silver bead, and I have some rose beads. Little tiny rose beads. Let's see what it looks like. Very dainty. And then let's add one of the little black rondelles. What else can we pick out of here? See what happens if we stack some beads here. So we've got the rondelle and a fancy little spacer bead. And it is tiny, if you can see that. Let's add another rondelle and another spacer bead. The spacer beads are actually larger than the rondelle. I don't want this one to get very big. I'm working back towards my dainty or tiny earrings. I think it needs something else. It needs another rondelle. What do you think? That's not too bad for a dainty little earring, considering that we started with this. Because I've gone into more detail on the other earrings, I think I'm going to call it. And this could be any bead. It doesn't have to be a little rose bead. But if you have some tiny little rondelles, think about stacking it with some fancy spacer beads and a little charm type bead at the bottom. I could put a seed bead here. I do have some little ones left. Okay, let's try that. Let's try a little seed bead here. See if I like that any better. You know what? I do. I like the little black seed bead at the bottom. It makes the rose stand out a little bit more. It doesn't compete with the rose. I'm going with it. This one's going to be a very easy, dainty earring. Bend this at a right angle. I trim mine down to about 1/4 of an inch. Make a loop. I could close the loop or I could go ahead and put it on the ear wire. Again, I'm trying to keep these short, so I'm going to put these lever, pinch it, and we have ourselves, that's not even a 5-minute earring. That is a like 30-second earring. Let's make another one. And we have ourselves another pair of cute earrings. Now these do not fit on my display very well, so I'm just kind of making them go on here for the sake of showing you. This is what we have. So pretty compared to just stacking beads. The findings, the silver plated beads or gold plated beads if you want to, fancy spacer beads, little charm. This is the kind of stuff that elevates your earrings to elegant versus beginner or basic. We've got one more to go, but if you'd like to vote for number 4, this is number 4. Earring number 5. Can we make an earring that's made from all spacer beads? Maybe a few round beads. I've got an eye pin here. Got a little loop on the end. Let's start with a small round bead. Oh gosh, what do I pick? I've got so many to choose from. How about this one? Let me move this out of the way a little bit so you can see. Where's one of those bally beads? Those are kind of cool. What haven't I used? I don't think I used this one. I want some kind of different shape. I've got a little swirly thing here. I'm liking that. Can we stop there? You know what? I think we can. I don't have any gold in it. I didn't go two-tone. I didn't use a rondelle. But I kind of like that. What if we add a charm at the bottom? That's why I wanted an eye pin. I thought I'd add a charm to use all findings. Not even using any daisy spacers. Let's finish one. See what it looks like. Bend that. Cut it back to about 1/4 of an inch. Make a loop. What kind of ear wire do I want to put this one on? You know, it's fairly short. Maybe I'll use a French ear wire. I don't know why they call it French, but French ear wire. I think it's kind of cool. Definitely has the bling going for it. Oh, the leaf. Let's attach the leaf. I need a jump ring. I'll need 2. I don't know if I opened it up enough. I don't think I did. I'm going to switch to flat nose pliers so I can get a better hold on this. And look how quick we have a really unique one-of-a-kind earring. Cool. Now can I repeat that? Do I have enough beads to repeat that? Let's see, it was a small bead. By golly, we did it. Yes, it's long. How long is it? It's 2.5 inches. I could have shortened it up with a post, and it's light enough to go on a post. And they are going to move around. But let's take a look at this. How fun. Earring number 5 made from all findings. They could be shorter without the leaf. Which one are you voting for? Or maybe you want to vote for more than one. That's fine too. Let's take a look at all of them. Where'd all my necklaces go? We didn't use all the necklaces today, but that's okay. I have lots of videos planned for you. A couple more to come out this year in 2024. I'll have a video coming out on New Year's Day where I share my 2025 resolutions. Yeah, I wrote some down recently. And if you have any questions for me, now's the time to ask me. Along with your comment, please ask me a question, and I'll try to get to all of them on my New Year's Day video. But I need a heads up on it. Thanks for watching. I'm Vicki with Avante Jewelry, and I'll see you in the next video. Be sure to subscribe.